What's going on, everybody? Kelly Cavallari here, one half of 7 Year Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode number 12. We're almost through this third week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us so far. Glad y'all are enjoying them. I'm having a blast doing them. If you haven't yet, like, follow, share on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. That way you get notified every time we go live, and you don't miss anything. Shout out to everybody who's waiting for football tonight. We actually get a little bit of real sports, NFL drafts, supporting the Miami Hurricanes and the Miami Dolphins. Hopefully, all you sports lovers out there are going to really actually get a chance to at least get a little action today. So, today's guest, a little bit different. He comes from California. Big time on the social scene out there. One part of the new event that just happened of The Edge, known as Country Soul. Here is Byran Roberson Jr.
Hey.
What's going on, B? How you doing? Thanks for coming on the show, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I was shocked when you reached out. I was like, wait a minute. I've seen the other guests that you've had on.
Well, when I came up with the idea about a year ago, and I was talking to some of my friends about wanting to do this, I wanted to show all aspects. I want the event side plus the local side, because that's where everybody started, is in a country bar, going to local clubs, going around the state they live in, and doing stuff there locally, not traveling halfway across the country to do stuff. So I really wanted to hound on that as well, and not just having the event people in. And
Yeah.
some of my good friends, Trevor Thornton, Megan Barcelia, Chris Gonzalez, Emily Harris, all said if I wanted to talk to someone in Cali, you were definitely the man to talk to. So I was glad to reach out, and I was glad you were able to come on today.
Man, those are big names to recommend. That's really cool. No, Megan and Chris are great. They were kind of mentors when I started in this whole game, so happy that they recommended. Same with Emily.
So for those who don't know anything about you, why don't you give us a little history on yourself and how you got into dancing?
Sure. All right. Well, I actually started dancing in 2015. I'd never done any kind of dance lessons or been really active in any kind of dancing. So kind of a long story, actually, but I was working about an hour away from my house. So on my commute back, there was a bar called In Cahoots that has since closed down, but that was they had a special on Thursdays. It was like a $7 steak, potato, and a beer. So I was like, you know what? I am going to cut up my drive. I love country music, so I'm gonna go in there, have some dinner, watch people dance, listen to music, and then continue on my commute. So I went in there the first day, and it was great. Everyone looked like they were having an amazing time. Everyone it was a pretty split line dance and partner dancing. So it was great. I sat down, was on top of the dance floor looking down. And from that point, I was like, all right, I have to try this. This looks like so much fun. Not to mention the person sitting next to me, I was sitting to a pretty attractive girl who's now one of my really good friends. And she was like, why are you dancing? I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And she went out with her dance partner at the time and was incredible. So I was like, okay, I need to learn how to do this. Went and bought my first pair of boots the next day, and then kept coming back every week for like 5 hours a night.
Nice.
So it became like a part-time job. I was there at least 2 to 3 nights a week to begin with for 5 hours at a time. So I might as well have been working there.
Right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit of the different styles you do. I know you do both line and you do some couples dance and stuff. So tell us a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess here in California, it's really different as far as people doing both sides of country dancing. It's like you'll go out to Texas and no one line dances at all. It's only partner dancing.
Right.
Or even I went to Cowboys Orlando and no one partner danced at all. It was all line dancing.
Yeah, it's a little different down here.
Yeah. So it's I was really determined to be good at both. I started out on the line dance side just because it's easier. You don't need a partner, and it's really less nerve-wracking to be bad because no one else is depending on you. But yeah, so line dance is where I started, and then once I got a little more confident, got out to do partner dancing. I started messing around, just doing what everyone else calls a two-step that's on the dance floor. But the more I watched and gained a little more information, you can tell like some people are doing something different. So I just became like more of a student of the kind of the dance style. So you have your progressive two-step that a lot of people don't do unless, Darren, and I think Darren said it the other day, the older folks typically do a progressive two-step. So it's really standard, your quick, slow moving down line dance. But then the younger generation has like taken that and turned it into something a little bit different where they're kind of going side to side. And there's not really any rhyme or reason to it. So I started doing that and came to realize that there's this whole other style that hasn't really been developed called country swing.
Right.
That, the folks that are in the UCW, DC worlds and, those types of things don't really give pay much, attention to it because it's not any kind of recognized formal type of dance, but it's really good for the bar goer. There's a low barrier to entry. You can just get in and mess around and figure it out. I think that's why I appreciate it, is because you don't need to go 2 hours of class to figure out your two-step and get really comfortable with it.
Okay, that makes sense. I know back in the day before the UCWDC got big, there used to be tons of traveling almost like competitions that did country swing and the country two-step, and it was almost like bar tours and stuff like that. I remember it, the old Neon Armadillo and stuff in Orlando before back in Wild Horse Saloon and stuff like that. They did some stuff there.
Yeah. So I know there's East Coast and West Coast swing. That I mean, it's kind of this whole country swing thing is kind of like it takes fun parts from every style and makes it its own. So
Okay.
it's just again real low barrier to entry. Go in, figure it out. Hopefully you have an ear for music because that does help a lot.
Right.
To make sure you're on some kind of beat. But yeah, it's fun unless the floor gets kind of crazy and everyone's kind of Wild West out there.
So tell us a little bit about what the local line dance scene is out in Cali. I know you're in Southern Cal, right?
Right. I live in I like to say little city, but it's not that little. It's called Chula Vista. I'm about 3 miles from the border of Mexico. In San Diego, we had 4. So we had In Cahoots, Renegade, both Moonshines within half hour of each other. So
that's always convenient.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone really sees San Diego as a dance scene for country dancing, but there's so many opportunities here. And then you travel a little bit further north, you get into Orange County, and there's, In Cahoots, Fullerton is up there. You have the Ranch. If you've seen the Ranch's dance floor, it's insane. It's so nice, such a great venue. And then you travel a little bit further north, and there's there's probably 7 to 8 clubs a little bit further north in LA. So there's so many opportunities. If you just take a 2-hour drive to hit a ton of dance bars. And most people, I think here, we definitely lean heavy on the line dancing.
Okay.
And I don't know, really, it's really up to all the instructors that teach at the local bars. They choose which dances get in. I don't think we have anyone that teaches at local bars here in San Diego that has been on the scene, on the circuit scene that is very active in it. But that's been changing recently. Once I went to Vegas, but in 2018 to Vegas Dancing School. Some of the people that I was on the stagecoach dancing with convinced me that, hey, you really need to check this out. Because I was, just mastering the bar dances,
Right.
And I'm like, there's another world to this that will make your bar dancing better and will just open you up to a lot of different styles of line dancing. Like, I kind of like the bar scene, blah, blah, blah. But, I went to Vegas and we've taken a lot of what we learned there back to our, the LA, the Orange County, and the San Diego bars, and people are really enjoying it. So I can see that scene getting very popular here in San Diego. Well, once we get out of quarantine, I guess.
Right. Yeah, right? Once you're allowed back in public.
Yeah. So
Vegas is definitely a different beast. I'm sure there was plenty of opportunities for you to take classes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Vegas. We were at Vegas to do photo and video this past year, and we went for fun back in 2017 just to go out and hang out with people. And that's definitely a event that you definitely, if that was your first event, wow, talk about they threw you to the wolves.
It was 11 lessons in a day, or I don't even know how many I took in a day, but it's a humbling experience for someone that I know dances and stuff. I could not figure out the balance for the life of me. And Joe Thompson taught it, and I was like, I can't figure this out. It took me some time to figure it out.
So I know you're big. You talk about all the people from your stagecoach dance team that brought you on. How'd you get into going into that? How did you get into doing the whole stagecoach thing? Yeah, and tell everybody that doesn't know that what is stagecoach.
Okay, yeah, I always forget. I mean, in Southern California, it's like Stagecoach. Stagecoach is our large multi-day country music festival in San Diego. Well, it's actually in Indio, where Coachella is. I think most people are probably more familiar with what Coachella is. It's in the same location.
Okay.
So Stagecoach is, I think it's 3 days, and the thing that makes it unique is Anne Marie Dunn. She is kind of the coordinator of the Southern California dance team for Stagecoach. She had this idea a few years back. I think it was maybe 2014 or 15. To put together a dance group that could lead dancing in their dance hall. They have a giant, they call it the honky tonk.
Right.
And I don't remember the exact dimensions, but you could probably fit, it's like 75% of a football field.
Wow.
Indoors and they have giant fans pumping, and there's a stage, so all the people on the team get to dance on the stage. We do lessons, and there are hundreds to thousands of people on the dance floor dancing to whatever dance goes to the particular song, whichever area they come from, because, line dancing is very regional. Even within bars within the same city, we do different dances. So, so Stagecoach, apart from the giant music festival, it's also tailored to dancers. So if you don't want to go and watch all the concerts, you can come to the dance hall and spend, 10 hours, if you can make it, just dancing. So it's pretty great.
Yeah, I remember the first year Trevor was out there. The pictures he sent me back, I'm like, that's just massive.
Yeah. He went the first time, you said 2017?
I think that's what it was.
Okay, yeah. I met him the following year. He was one of the instructors, and I think that was the first time I met, like, the choreographer of a dance that I had done before. It was, I think, Ain't Too Cool or Double D. We danced those in San Diego, and, I saw the name on the list. I was like, that's the guy that did these? And this was before, I wasn't in this rodeo. I wasn't looking at step sheets yet. I wasn't, researching choreographers. So it was definitely a cool experience. And I got into all of that because of wanting a little bit more. So, I was in the San Diego dance scene, and you learn those dances, and then it's like, okay, what else is out there? Had some friends that would travel up to LA to dance, so I went up there, and I was like, wait a minute, they do so many different dances than we do down here. Why is that? So that just kind of got the wheels turning, and started competing and stuff like that. And I learned about the Stagecoach competition that Anne-Marie put on, and the rest was history. I won that first competition, and they asked me to be on the team. I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. And it was really cool. I think every music festival should have some dance component like Stagecoach. It's great.
Yeah, what was it like getting up on that stage and having all those people down below you?
Not gonna lie, I was very nervous.
I'm sure.
Especially, so that first year of Stagecoach was 2017 or 2018. I think it was 2017 actually. That was the first year I did it. I had only been dancing for maybe like a year and a half. So I was very familiar with the dances at my home bar. But everyone on the team was from LA, and they had, hundreds of dances in their back pocket. So I did a lot of watching that first year. So I danced as much as I could, but I did a lot of watching because they would, if our team was like, 25 people, everyone's not up on the stage. You have shifts. So the ones that I didn't know, I would step off and watch.
Okay.
But yeah, it was one of the coolest experiences to go and do fake ID with my buddy Jake, because we do it. Everyone does fake ID differently, I feel like, but we have a very particular way of doing it in San Diego, and it was just me and him in this little section, and we just crushed it, and it was probably one of my favorite parts. And he's one of the guys that I watched dancing in Cahoots, and he was like an inspiration to me. So to be up there with him doing that in front of hundreds of people was pretty sweet.
Nice. Rebecca Sneed has asked, what's your favorite type of venue to teach in, and to dance at? A festival, bar, winery?
Favorite venue to teach? I do like the more intimate teaches, because if anyone has been to my lessons or seen it, I like to mess around. I like to just joke around with people. I will call you out if you're messing up. So it's just fun to be in a more intimate. So I like, I prefer I like the studio that I teach at, because the people there, most of the time, they are doing a little more advanced. Not advanced, I say intermediate, and they're familiar with steps, so I can get through a dance quicker. And I don't have to break down, like, oh, this is what a coaster step is. Don't get me wrong, I do a lot of beginner classes, and I love it, but I like to be able to say, hey, we're going to do 48 count phrase dance. There's, A, B, and C tags, or whatever the case may be, and they understand what I'm talking about, and we can just burn through a lesson. It's great. But yeah, I have a lot of different venues that I teach at. Studios, I teach at wineries. Rebecca's been to, a number of my lessons, so she's familiar with where I'm taught at.
That's always nice. So you have on the hat that says Country Soul. That's your handle. You have the page. how did that all begin? Where did the name come from, and how did that all start out?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we didn't get into the teaching part where how this all happened.
Right.
So I just became the person at In Cahoots, the home bar that knew some dances, and I would teach people a little bit on the side, just kind of like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do right here. I think like this is what it looks like. And I kept getting tagged in a dance called Holy Moly. It was like a year. I had been in for a year. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's choreographed by David Villegas. I think he's from Spain.
Okay.
And it's a 212 count phrase dance to Footloose.
Okay.
So most people will, they'll do slapping leather or another dance called Footloose, but they tagged me in this video, and I was like, oh yeah, this is your next dance. You're going to learn blah, blah, blah. Oh, that looks crazy. What are people tagging me? And I was like, you know what? Challenge accepted. Let's do this. So I learned it, and it took me forever to get this one down. But once I did at the bar, I had everyone asking, what is that? Can you teach it to us? So I started a little group that would go to a local park.
Okay.
And I would just teach that dance. I would spend 2 hours just going through that dance. And when we were done, I just kind of asked the question, is there anything else you want to learn? And that really got the ball rolling. That's when I started, paying attention to step sheets and looking at what actually happens in this, finding out we were doing dances very wrong at the bars. and it kind of took off a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make this a thing that maybe it extends outside of Sandy, because I started doing, video lessons.
Okay.
And then a video from one of the competitions, it was a stagecoach competition. One of those videos got shared, and it just blew up. So I had a video of me doing aces and eights.
Okay.
That one kind of went baby viral. It had like a couple 100,000 views. It was like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? And then we do a partner dance called, it's called the Traveling Cha-Cha, but we just call it Cowboy Cha-Cha.
Okay, yep.
It's not Denver Cha-Cha, it's not the California Cha-Cha, we just call it Cha-Cha, but I think technically it's called Traveling Cha-Cha. That got shared everywhere. I think right now it has like 6 million views.
Oh, man.
And I just started getting flooded with friend requests, and I was like, everyone go to Country Soul, go to that page, because I shared it on my personal page.
Okay.
And I was like, go here, go to the Country Soul, this is my dance page, blah, blah, blah. So I started getting more active there, and it just kind of took off as this vehicle that I can, post my dance videos, but it turned into me teaching more. These are dances that I like, that I want to teach and break it down a little bit more for folks. So that's really how, Holy Moly is how it all started, with the teaching, and then I just found an audience that was interested, and, it was just right place, right time, and someone hit share at the right time, and I took that and kept going with it.
There you go. Someone asked, do you have a performance background other than dancing? Did you ever do any performing growing up or anything like that?
Nope. Grew up playing sports. I guess that's kind of performing. No, I played football and ran track. I played baseball and something. Yeah, just an athlete background. No performing at all.
Just naturally like being out there in front of everybody?
I don't know. I would think if someone were to talk to you about me, they would say I'm extroverted, but I do think I'm introverted. I don't really like to be out in crazy crowds. I prefer to be kind of solo.
Okay.
But if the situation calls for it, I'm not going to shy away, I guess.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. It's funny to hear people like, oh yeah, I thought you'd be very, I'm just going to sit here in the corner and let you guys do your thing.
All right, you touched on part of this already. One of the questions I had come in for you was, you touched on the whole country swing and how it is big out there. It's so hit or miss here. You might luck out and see one couple or two couples doing it at a bar. But how do you think the resurgence of country swing has affected the community, your dance community, and do you think it's going to be sticking around for a while? And should the bars and the nightclubs embrace it, or what?
Yeah, it's funny. I found this conversation with some folks that are more, traditional. So if you're familiar with Country Dance X out there in Houston.
I am.
Yeah. So,
and the Show Her Off one as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Familiar with both of
Country
those.
Dance X. So Anthony and Rose, they're much more traditional in their dance. So
Mm-hmm.
they're practiced in very traditional ways, and they are solid at it. And I had a conversation with him, and like, you know what? It's fine that you do it, but why not do it? Why not learn how to do partner dancing correctly? But my thing is, if most people that are going out to the bar scene to dance, they just want to have a good time without putting the time in to, master a triple two or master an actual progressive two step.
Right.
They just want to go out there and get, spun around and stuff. So I can see it staying around. So part of the event that I did with the Edge, we were trying to incorporate some kind of basic, like there needs to be something that ties everybody together. When you say, oh, we're going to do a country swing style dance, there has to be something that makes you speak the same language.
Right.
So we're actually partnering up with some folks in Arizona as well, called Country Nomads. Their country swing scene out there is solid. They are very good, very big West Coast influence, actually.
Right. They have a huge country dance scene competitively for UCWDC as well. I do that.
Oh, really?
Yes. I know a couple instructors and a couple friends that are from Arizona and live out in Arizona and teach. And country swing and country two-step, UCWDC is huge out there.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So they actually just, bought their own studio and are teaching classes out of that. So country swing is their mainstay. So we're trying to get that spread out, as far as we can, so that there is a basic for country swing, so that people know what's going on. So there is a push to get this in front of people, into more bars, so that does stay around. The one thing I can say that I think would make bars kind of hesitate is the lifting aspect of it. So depending on where you're at with your country swing, there are some, there's aerials and stuff that you can do, and I know that does pose a safety concern for bars, and I'm sure there's some kind of insurance cost that would have to be considered if you are doing aerials in your bar.
Right.
I don't think people want to deal with that.
No, I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I was first learning how to line dance, how to go to bars, they'd have it posted. That's the one thing that was banned. They weren't allowed to do lifts. They're allowed to do the country swing, but they just weren't allowed to put the aerials in it. Yeah. Due to that same reason, they don't want to be held liable if you go and buy 6 beers from their bar and then drop your girl.
Exactly.
That I could totally understand why they have that in place.
Yeah, and I understand that, and there are people that are out there that are very against it because they have practiced and they have actually spotters when they learned how to do these lifts.
Right.
And I think the learning curve would be too tough, and the scrutiny on folks, the scrutiny on people that are just trying to learn and don't have any practice would be too heavy for them to want to continue to learn to do it at a bar. Let's say like maybe specific hours, aerials now are allowed on the floor or something like that. I don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah, Jennifer Oliphant just commented, "Hi Jen, long time no see." That some bars in SoCal are still post the no lift rule out there.
Yeah.
Now, have you noticed, like, I know here, at least in Florida, for like you called it the cowboy country cha cha, the progressive that goes around the floor, the pattern partner dances, stuff like that. Do you see that like in country swing and stuff like that it's very regional out there in California, like say Northern Cal, Central, where some areas do them and some don't, or do y'all tend to try to at least try everything out there? Because I know like here, we can't go, like in South Florida, pattern partner dances are huge. You can go to Roundup and every two or three songs, you're going to do a cowboy cha-cha, or you're going to do an El Paso, or you're going to do something like that. You go up to Orlando at Cowboys or the Barn, not a chance.
Yeah.
You're still going to see the two-step in West Coast because there's a big couples community up there, but they're definitely not doing pattern partner dances. So is it kind of like that out there, or y'all try to do a little bit of everything?
It's regional. So I think here in San Diego, we try to do. We have like 3 that are very normal in a rotation. So our cha-cha, We do one called We Danced, and
Okay.
then El Paso is starting to make its kind of a comeback here. But there are at least 8 other ones I know they do in LA that we don't do in San Diego. So when stagecoach competition comes around, people from San Diego will travel to LA to compete. They have to learn, 3 new pattern partner dances in order to compete. So a lot of them haven't made their way down to San Diego, but I think the same thing for Northern California. It's funny, the dance scene in Southern California versus Northern California. California is a pretty big state,
Right.
so between LA and like the San Francisco area, there's not much to be that I have heard of as far as the dancing community. So the Central Valley,
Okay.
which is crazy because I'm sure there's a large country music contingent in the Central Valley. It's where all the farmers are and stuff like that. But I don't hear a lot of dancers coming out of there. But in the Bay Area, there's Stonies up in, I think it's in Sacramento, and then Saddle Rack up in Fremont, which is kind of right near San Francisco. Jackson up in San Francisco. They're starting to build their communities, and I think they are taking from the LA and Southern California dances that we do, just to try to stay kind of in step with what we're doing down here.
Okay.
But there's a lot of great instructors and everything up there. So Chris and Megan and I think Kat teaches up there in SAC, Kat Painter.
Shout out to Kat. I know she's tuned in some. Maddie B just commented up in this. You might like this one. You might want to go to Washington. Up in Washington, they have a no rules floor. There's one floor that you have to stay traditional and follow etiquette on one floor, and on the other floor, it's pretty much no rules. They have two. It's 2 floors in the same bar.
How are they getting away with that?
Apparently, they're allowed to do. Yeah, they have the rules. That bar has the rules. They can do pretty much whatever they want. She says the second floor, the no rules floor, is about a third of the size of the main floor. But yeah, they have two floors in the same bar. There you go.
Yeah, we have how many? I think there's 3 bars in Southern California that have more than one floor. So there's
Nice.
Cowboy Country. Cowboy Country has 3 floors.
Oh wow.
That's in Long Beach. Yeah, there's a main floor, a side floor, and then an upper floor. And then Montana's has probably the biggest floor here in Southern California. They have an upper floor as well.
Okay.
And there might be another one that has 2 floors, but those are the 2 that I can think of at this point.
That's got to be crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
Matt, she just said everyone signs a waiver before entering the bar. There you go. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Covers their butt if anybody falls. I would want to go just to watch. I would want to go just to see.
If you have a no rules floor, that I would imagine you would have some dancers that can do some pretty cool stuff, right?
Right.
You gotta check that out. Wait, what bar is it in Washington? Because I only know of that one in Tacoma. I think it's in.
Maddie, what's the name of it if you're still still on? Shockingly, Brian and I have never met. I think she's going to type it here in a minute. She says, come on. Amanda Lindemann just put in Central California Valley. We have had the main maybe 5 staple partner dances for the last 20 years. We rarely see new ones.
Okay.
I can see that. And Jim, yes, you're right. They have them signed before they've had any alcohol, so as they're coming in. That makes sense.
Have that clear mind, because after a couple, you might think you can do things that you aren't able to. Like, I can do that.
Rebecca Steen said also the Saddle Rack in Fremont, California has 2 floors. One ends up as a designated line dance floor.
Right.
The name of the bar is Steel Creek up in Washington.
Steel Creek, yes.
Steel Creek. That would be interesting. All my West Coast friends, we might have to be planning a road trip up to visit Washington here soon. I'm interested just to go to hang out. That would be a cool place to hang out and watch.
Yeah, for
a
sure.
no rules floor. Let's see how many people get dropped in one night. The over-under on me, I would say 3. I'm just saying. Yeah, I understand. See, that's what I don't get, I guess, from watching it down here and watching people do it. And I've seen the Country Dance X videos and the spinner off, the show are off. And most of this stuff is done in bars. Most of the stuff is done. That stuff is done out when there's alcohol involved.
Yeah.
Why would they want you to? I can totally understand why they would not halal lifts, because that's just a bad mix. That's just a bad mix.
I haven't seen in a bar seen anyone get dropped too hard.
I love how you have to preference that. Too hard.
Too hard, yeah. I've seen. I mean, I feel like if you haven't dropped someone, you're not trying, right? And
Well,
I've
that's
definitely
true.
dropped someone at a bar.
That's true. Jen Oliphant said we should make a game out of every time someone falls, we take a shot. No, no, that
We'll be
just
calling an
sounds
Uber.
bad,
We'll be calling an Uber there.
right? I'm telling you, and that's one thing. I lived in Ontario for about 3 or 4 months. I worked for Grand Austin and Dance Connection, the shoe vendor. So I lived out in Southern Cal for about 3 or 4 months before moving back to Florida, and I only went to one or two bars, and it was just because every time I'd go, there wouldn't be big crowds. Now,
Yeah.
the sad thing is, every time I see like you post videos, or my buddy Rick Dominguez, Oil Can Harry's post videos, or Emily or Jen, y'all are packed.
Hmm.
Every video I've seen is y'all have a packed house, especially for the stagecoach competitions. Now, is that a normal thing, or does it get bigger during the stagecoach time when they hold the comps?
It's funny. So that I think it's actually thins out for the competitions. So if
Really?
you go during the week, the places are packed. So I don't know about you guys, but our nights out aren't on the weekends. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's when you'll find the dance floors the most crowded. So Tuesday at Moonshine Beach, like if you're not there before 9:30,
Yeah.
you're not gonna find any room to dance.
Oh wow. Yeah. No. See, here it's
Yeah,
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
yeah,
It's
it's
the
funny.
weekend because everyone's still working.
Also, do you guys not go out until like 11 p.m. out there? Because I found that.
You found that out going to Cowboys, didn't you?
Yeah, I showed up at like 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
and I was the
Um.
only person there.
Yeah. It's weird. It's hit or miss. Emily says I wasn't going to the right bars. That could be true, Emily. When I go up and visit my buddy Trevor, and I visit all my friends that go out dancing up there, unless they're teaching, yeah, we don't get out there till like 9:30, and it's usually because that's when the free drink stuff starts, as after a certain time. So
Which blows my mind.
what, the
How
free
you give
drinks?
out free drinks?
Right. South Florida doesn't do it as often, but Orlando does it huge. Like Friday, if you know a name, if you have a birthday name, you get in for free at Cowboys and you get your first few drinks for free. The barn, when I used to live up there, I think on Thursday nights was college night. It would be
Hmm.
$7 to get in for girls, or $10 for guys. But from 9 to 1, it was 25-cent long necks. Like it
Okay,
was perfect. It's
I
so
have a
weird, and
buddy.
yet, like Jim just said, Florida has shifted. It's the age factor. The earlier, it's the older crowd who wants to learn. Unless you want to go,
Yeah.
and if you don't want to go for the dance lessons, you don't go, because that's what pretty much what is at the bar till like 9, 10 o'clock, depending on the bar. So for the people who don't want to go to the dance lessons, it's they go later when the dance lessons is over.
Yeah,
For like
makes sense.
us who would go and hang out with Trevor and stuff, or hang out with the instructor, he'd have to be there anyway. So we'd just go and we'd hang out throughout the entire time. So yeah,
Mm.
I did notice that. That is, yeah, you're right. It's definitely a shift. You don't go out till later. That is for sure. For
I
the most part.
Real quick story about the barn. So I have been to the barns. I have family that lives in Orlando.
Okay.
So I found, all the bars that were close by, and I was like, all
Right.
right, the barn doesn't seem too far. So we drove out there, and this was when I first kind of, like, the country soul page kind of blew up.
Right.
So we drove out there with my cousins, walked in, paid the whatever $10 cover, and went to the bar, and then asked, hey, you know what, are there any drink specials tonight or whatever? And the bartender was like, oh, no, no drink specials. All right, well, how much is a Budweiser? $1.
Yeah.
That that's not a drink special. Like, well, here's $20. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. The sad thing is, if you come like down to South Florida, you're not paying that. You're paying like $4.50, $5 for a Bud Light. You go up to Orlando, it's $1 or $2.
Yeah, it was
You're right.
insane.
It's totally different pricing in Orlando, and I think they do it because of the whole. It's college town. It's you got colleges all
Yeah.
over there, and they are bigger drinkers. I've noticed, but yeah, they don't. Yeah, well, I know we're amateurs. Nothing's like Coyote Joe's up in Charlotte, brother. But yeah, I've noticed that too. The pricing is so different, and even when when I was in Cali, the pricing is so
Oh
different.
yeah.
Yeah, if you don't ask for a drink special, you're paying paying out the rear. Same thing in Vegas.
$8 for a beer.
Right.
Give me a break.
Right. We'd go out down here and we'd pay $6, $7, $8 for a beer down in South Florida, or $5. We go up to Orlando, we'd buy the exact same drink and it'd be $1.50, and your bar tab is like a third of the price. It's like, and we're literally only driving 3 hours north. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. That could be why. But even so, it's so hit or miss. Like people are, like you said, some days it would be packed. Like the Thursday night when it's college night, it used to be packed like crazy. Now it's not so much. It's kind of hit or miss. Same thing with Friday. Friday nights usually it's so hit or miss depending on what bar you go to in Orlando. But it's definitely the later crowd. It gets more crazy.
Sure.
And then Saturdays, wherever you end up at, pretty much is going to have a crowd size depending on the night of the week and what's going on in the state of Florida with its football and stuff like that.
True. Yep.
So, with all the bars out in Cali, that's why every picture I saw, I was like, everything's packed. I'm like, I understand Cali's big and all, but how do they choose which bar to go to then?
There's nights of the week you have to have your dance calendar down. Tuesday you're at Moonshine Beach. Wednesday you're at either Renegade or Moonshine Beach. Thursday you're at Moonshine Flats, and then Friday you're back at Renegade.
There you go. So, now that I know normally you'd be getting, I just looked at the calendar, you would be getting prepped to go to Stagecoach.
Yep.
How y'all handling it with the movie move? Because you got moved to October, correct?
Yeah. So both of so that and Country Thunder, which is another festival, it's in Arizona, but I teach at that festival. Both got moved to October, like back-to-back weekends. So, everyone was ready for Stagecoach this year. It was going to be so great, and then kind of bomb got dropped on it. But we're all staying in touch, we're all trying to keep in communication, and someone created a page specifically for posting fun dance videos and stuff like that. So we're staying connected. It's rough because we had planned to put together days where we can meet and practice dances, but now we can't do that. So luckily, we know a lot of instructors that are doing virtual lessons and stuff, so we can, brush up on ones that we already know or learn something new, just to occupy the time and continue to have those dances in our back pocket. So when Stagecoach ultimately does happen, we have 20 more dances that we can be up on stage to perform for the folks.
That's good. Yeah, right now I know there's like 35 to 40 different dances being taught online a day. On Facebook and Zoom and YouTube, you can pick an hour during the day and you can find a dance class. You can pretty much learn everything that you possibly have missed over the past 10 years on FaceTime right now.
The retro line dance one that's been great because they're going over the 5 years back and recapping dances. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, huge shout out to my boy Chris Jocks actually, because the class that starts right after this at 6 on retro. He's teaching Crash by Fred Whitehouse, which is a really great dance. Little throwback there. So when this show's over, guys, if you want to head over there, Chris will be live in that, doing that for sure. I'm loving some of these old throwbacks because I haven't seen some of these dances done in years.
Yeah.
I'm like, when Max Perry taught Texas, that dance is 20 plus years old, I think. And I'm like, holy mackerel. Like, there's a dance called Crab Bucket today. From Gerard Murphy in Canada, and that was like at least 10 to 15 years old, I think, if not older. And I'm just like, wow, yeah. They're bringing back some really good stuff. I'm like, people just haven't got a chance to learn because there's 40 new dances released every day.
Right, yeah, and that's something that's been interesting with me because I started in 2015, so I learned the stuff that our bar was teaching. I don't know how old they were, if they were new or what. So a lot of the dances they're coming out with or teaching on that retro line dance one, like I've never seen this before. I wasn't in the game at that point, and I didn't really start paying attention to choreographers and stuff until probably late 2017, 2018. So it's been interesting because I just like the curve was like I don't know really anything, and then I hit this kind of point where I was like, bam, I know all the choreographers and where they're from and like the dances that are theirs. It's like, okay, it's getting kind of insane now.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy with all the classes. Everyone was like, where did this dance come from? Where did this dance come from? I'm like, See, there's tons of stuff that's older that just instead of releasing 55 dances a day, we've learned some of the ones from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. You could still keep going. It's like that just got overlooked because so many dances were released back to back. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right when you were coming into this about 2015, it's been crazy. The past 5 years, how often dances are released.
Yeah. And that's a common kind of point of frustration for a lot of the bar goers that aren't in um, the other world because
Right.
they they're used to dancing the things they're used to like one to two new dances a month.
Now it's not
But
like
then
that.
no, because now we're getting introduced. The people that are going to conventions and stuff, they're bringing back all these new dances and they're familiar with the choreographers. So, with social media, you're following somebody, you see,
Yeah.
Fred Whitehouse just released a new dance. You see Darren or Amy or Joe just released a new dance. So you want to learn it and then show everybody because you enjoy it. So all these dances that keep coming out, it gets overwhelming for the normal bar goer.
Yeah, I had the DJ for the barn, Larry, on Monday, and I told him,
Yeah.
I go, I feel bad for you. Just when you thought you got caught up on learning all the dance that because he has to deal with usually 3 instructors at one bar.
Oh,
So
wow.
just when he got caught up learning all the music, I'm like, here we go. Even during all this quarantine time, here's 40 new dances that our dancers are doing.
Yep. We definitely have group chats with the DJs at the various bars. Like, hey, this one people are liking this one. You better put it in the queue.
Right, exactly. That's I've definitely noticed. Even with the quarantine time, like I will check Copper Knob like every day just to see it.
Yeah.
It's still every day. There's like a list of all new dances. I'm like,
Hmm.
I understand y'all have nothing else to do because you're locked inside, but come on, learn some
I'm
of the
guilty.
old ones.
I'm guilty. I made a new dance like 2 weeks and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but
Guilty.
one's not that bad. One you've made one in what 4 weeks? I know
Shoot,
some.
no, I don't do that many.
But I'm saying in the 4 weeks of quarantine, you've only released one.
Oh,
I
okay,
I
okay,
know
okay. Yeah,
some
yeah.
names that I've seen on there 8, 9, 10 times.
Oh,
Right. So,
that's dedication, though, if nothing else.
oh, that's extremely dedication. So what other new stuff you got in the works coming up? I know you said you got the Arizona event coming up with the Country Nomads. What else y'all
Yeah.
got in the works out there in Cali for when this ends?
So in California, honestly, not much in California. So we have that Country Nomads event we're putting on at the end of August.
Right.
And for those that are interested, it's called Endless Summer Step and Swing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be kind of a mashup of a bunch of different stuff. I was supposed to in June be teaching at Voghera Country Festival in Italy.
I remember seeing
Which-
that. Yep. That obviously, I guess you're not going there now.
It got canceled this year, but they did invite me back next year. So
That's awesome.
2021, I'm going to Italy, guys.
There you go.
And then also in July, I have a festival in North Dakota, so Indie Country Fest. And I
That
did
one's in the
last
middle
year,
of
so
nowhere. You might be okay there.
It is in the middle of nowhere, and it's so cool. I did it last year. It was
Okay.
pretty sweet. Yeah. But other than that, so yeah, the event with Country Nomads, that's really the only things that are close by in San Diego. We haven't really planned a lot of stuff here locally. Just doing our regular, really kind of getting back into the regular swing of things. I'd have 3 to 4 lessons a week,
Right.
all throughout San Diego County. And on top of that, going to bars and making sure staying up to date with what the people like. So I've really been looking forward to getting back to that. Not really any huge events, but when they do come back around, Stagecoach and Country Thunder and those things, I'm super stoked about those because we play a big role in making those festivals fun.
Yeah,
like
I've
all the
noticed
instructors
from
are
what
very important.
Emily and Megan and Chris and Trevor have showed me from pictures and stuff at Stagecoach. Y'all are definitely involved in. I know one of the DJs, Jack Smith, who plays
Yep.
at it. Y'all definitely put your work in for sure. Y'all definitely.
Because everyone that's on that stage competed to be there. They love
Right.
dancing, and then they get to do it on stage, like 100% each dance without anyone within 4 feet of them.
Right? You don't have to worry about hitting somebody.
I was dancing next to Jason Takahashi. And I see he said what's up on here. What's up, Jason?
Yeah.
252. What's up? We were roommates. He was doing Walk the Line, and that there's the very beginning of dance where you're doing those triple steps 40, and we usually cut that out and throw some spins in it.
Right.
Jason just nonchalantly throws a quad spin in there as he's traveling, and I was like, "You're not human, dude." He's like, "Yeah, 4's tough, but 5 is really when it really gets interesting." Oh my gosh, you are not a human being.
The professional figure skater just randomly throws a quad spin in.
It was wild traveling. I was like, "You're insane, man." But yeah, it's a great time, and everyone on the team is solid. So it's really I know everyone's missing it in April. Hopefully, it won't be hot, but it's going to be hot in October.
Just had a question come in from Richard Kessler. He says, since quarantine, have you seen any of the dances on the retro site that you didn't know already that you can't wait to hit the dance floor with, or your favorite dance that you didn't know that you've kind of wanted to learn that you can't wait to hit the dance floor with when you get back to all this?
So I have not been able to practice anything on a retro because they happen during the day, and I still have my regular job. So I'll be watching it. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Damn it. Jason was teaching one the other day that I tuned in for. That looked fun. But I was like, I can't. I have stuff to do right now. I can't. But the one that Showstopper has come up a couple times.
Yes.
And I have not learned it, and it looked super fun. That's probably one that I need to nail down, because I think it's popular in Southern California, just not in San Diego, and we just don't do it here. So maybe I'll have to go back to the Showstopper teach and bring that one to San Diego.
I know this one, I don't think it has been asked, but someone already wants to know, what is your actually favorite dance to do?
It changes a lot, but there is one particular song and dance combo that I love that I will do every time. But Walk the Line, funny because it's an older dance and it's not the most complicated. But Walk the Line to a song is called That Girl by Kevin Fowler.
Yeah.
It's fun background story of that because there's a part in it. I like to do a heel click and Walk the Line when you kind of do that little touch out to the side. I'll do a heel click right there.
Okay.
That's where this came from.
Oh, okay.
This is actually a picture of me doing
the heel click.
And someone just cut out the silhouette and made me a logo, and I was like, that is pretty sweet.
Nice.
But so that one's probably my all-time. But right now, I think I'm digging, and I don't think it's necessarily new, but Party in the Hills.
Okay.
I think that's Shane, and I don't remember everybody.
Shane and Joey, isn't it?
Shane, Joey. Okay, yeah. Dig that dance. I like how he uses the music in it, and it's very well done in my mind. So I like it a lot. I typically like to dance to country music, and this is a new thing for me doing
non-country.
Non-country, yeah. So
Jim, that song was he said it was That Girl by Kevin Fowler.
That Girl, Kevin Fowler, yeah.
For Walk the Line. For everyone out there who wants to know more about Byran, underneath his name is his Instagram handle. You can check out his page. Country Soul on Facebook. It's at country.soul, and it's SOLE on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me today, bud. It was a pleasure getting to know more about you. Hopefully one of these days I'll actually get to meet you in person. I've been to Vegas the opposite weekends, the opposite years you were, and I haven't been out to Cali since in a long time. So one of these days.
Yeah. When I go visit family and out there in Florida, I might have to.
Absolutely, I'll gladly make the drive up to Orlando weekend. Definitely go out and hang out. But thank you so much to everyone who joined us today on the show. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, 5 o'clock. I have Brandon Zahorski all the way from New York going to be on. We're going to talk about the scene up in New York. He does an awesome local class on Tuesday nights, which up in New York, I guess the middle of the week is the local thing to do too, is go out in the middle of the week up in New York. But if y'all want to learn a class at 6, my buddy Chris Jocks, who is teaching over on Retro Line Dance, the social stuff, he is teaching Crash by Fred Whitehouse. So tune in tomorrow, guys. I'm also going to be releasing the lineup for next week's shows. You're not going to miss them. I got some really good ones. So thank you for joining us. See you guys.
Peace.